Okay, I'm Hannah Froling. This is for EDUC 383 Writing Strategies and Methods. This assignment title would be Striving to Thriving Writer's Lesson and Reflection with Focus on Engagement. The date today is February 22nd of 2005. So this strategy is feelings made visual, show, don't tell. So we'll start with an introduction, kind of like what this framework is about. So show, don't tell. What are feelings? Like, how do we write about that and like what they look like? So, what are feelings? We should all know what feelings are by the time we hit high school or middle school or early elementary. So, um, but in case we don't know or we're scared to shake our head and be the only one, feelings are emotions that we feel when we're going through the day. This could include fear, sadness, happiness, confusion, or even anger. Okay, so writing about feelings. What does this look like? How do we go about it? You can't just say that a person is angry, but you have to describe that the person is angry. So the activity is I'm going to say an emotion, and that then you will write down a sentence and like what it will look like, what they're going through. Kind of what the examples that I have is the word is angry. The sentence is the guy went storming into the room and was screaming for someone named Danny. So I didn't use the word angry. That was the emotion he was feeling. But I didn't use the word angry within the sentence. But I showed that maybe he was angry about something when he went into that room. So we'll do about 2 of those as a full class. We'll all write our own sentences and then kind of share out a couple of those before moving on. So, first word would be sad. Give a couple seconds or give a few to kind of write down that sentence. Okay, now that we've given it a couple seconds or a few, so our first emotion was sad. The sentence that I kind of wrote down was the guy was crying on the street. Okay. Second word is fear. Let's see. Give you guys a few to write down the second sentence. And these don't have to be handwritten, these can also be typed up if they type better than what they can write out with their hands. Or if they write out better than what they can type, then they can write it out instead of type it. Okay, so our second word was fear. The sentence that I came up with was the girl seemed to be running away from something. So that's kind of how you write about feelings. You could get a little bit more descriptive and you can add some more describing words into there just to kind of add more to it. But that's more for like if you're writing full on paragraphs and not just like a sentence or two. So, version 1 of the mentor text. So, our mentor text is Who Am I by Shadow. So it's just a short little poem. I'm gonna read it out loud real quick. I'm in the dark alone, but how did I get in this state? How can I be saved, or is it too late? I'm scared and strong. If you could see what I see, can I come back? Don't want to be scared, lost or alone. I'm trying, I really am. Can't you see? I'm falling so fast, but you can't seem to slow down. If I can't stop, I'll smash into the ground. Surrounded by torment, I can't go home. I feel their anger, I see their hate. I can't wake up, it's already too late. Okay, so after reading that poem, think about these questions. What was the poem about? Was there any patterns? If there was, what was that pattern? And like kind of what did we picture? Um, and so this can be changed to kind of, you can print out the poem for the students that like maybe can't read up on the screen. They need to have that visualization in front of them. You can have that printed out version of the reading for them, and they can have that closer to them so they can kind of see what they're looking at a little bit closer. Um, and that can kind of be done with this version too as well. Just kind of have them printed out, but like don't give them both versions at the same time because then it will just like, it might confuse them a little bit more if you give them both versions at the same time. But you could have them out printed out in versions if they need a printed out version to see it, or you can have it printed out in another language if you have some English language learners in your classroom and they need to have that Spanish version so they can kind of understand a little bit more if they don't have like that translator in the classroom with them. Um, okay, so kind of what I got from the poem was that this person was like kind of like alone and like scared of something. Like he or she, I'm not assuming anything. Um, like they're worried about being saved and if it could be too late for them. Um, there seems to be some questions on asking for help or something, so that could be like a pattern. Um, it tends to say like too late or other forms of words like that in like different formats, like in the first line or the first stanza. At like the third line, it says, or is it too late? But then in the last stanza, the last line, it says, and it's already too late. Like the first one, it was a question, but the last one, it was a period. Um, so basically, what I'm picturing is like this guy falling into darkness, all alone, kind of scared feeling. So the activity for this would be to brainstorm some emotions as a full class. And then, so you do this for about 1 to 2 minutes, just kind of have all the kids come up with a whole bunch of emotions and write them down up on like the whiteboard or like have like one of those big poster sticky note things. And then once the 2 minutes are up, you can vote on the top three and then go from there. So the top three for what I'm gonna do would be fear, sad, and anger. So then you'll pick 6 to 8 describing words of what the emotion could look like. So for like fear, it could look like we'll come back to that one. Sadness could look like crying. Um, describing words. Um, anger could be like clenched fists, like clenching muscles. So like clenched. Um, and then yeah, you kind of just do that for like 6 to 8 describing words. Um, go over what I would go over what describing words are depending on like what you know about your class too. Because sometimes like your class they'll think of describing words, but sometimes they won't be describing words. Like they could think of running as a describing word, but depending on how you use it in a sentence, it could just end up being the verb and not the describing word. Okay, so version 2 of that mentor text is, and again, you can have this out on the printed copy, and this would be the time that you can hand them that version to, and then they can either hand in the first version or they can just like tuck it away in a folder. So this one says, I am lost in the dark. I feel so alone, surrounded by demons. I want to go home. But how did I get to this nightmarish state? Can I be saved or is it too late? I'm scared and I'm done being strong. If you could see what I see, you'd know that I'm gone. Can I come back? I want to go home. Don't want to be scared, lost, or alone. I'm trying, I really am. Can't you see? It's just so hard, and they're so angry. I'm falling so fast, but can't seem to slow down. If I can't stop, I'll smash into the ground. I'm lost in the dark. I feel so alone, surrounded by torment. I can't go home. I feel their anger. I see their hate. I can't wake up. It's already too late. So, after reading the new version of the poem, think about the following questions. What did the new information do to the piece? And uh, how would you connect with this piece? Like, how would you connect as a person to this piece? So, for this, you can always change it up for like your class to kind of have it as like if a person has problems connecting it with themselves, maybe have them try to connect it with somebody else if like that's what you know they can do. Like if you know they can connect it to like one of their friends or like maybe like an aide that spends a lot of time with them. They like you know that they can connect it to them but not themselves. See if you can do that, get them to do that. Um Also make sure that they understand that this would be like comparing and contrasting. So it'd be like going over what information came in from the text after it kind of went back to the original form. You can also highlight like what came in the second version, like what you took out the first version and put back in the second version. You could highlight that or put it in a different color so that the students can see the different colors and kind of see where those differences came in and can get a better understanding of like, oh, like that's something new that came in or that's something that was changed from the previous poem and that can kind of help them understand where some changes came in. So with this poem, it kind of adds some more information about like why they might be feeling this way. So it kind of adds in like the feeling alone and he's not alone, but it's like he's in this state and he's worried about not being saved, but he's like surrounded by demons, but he wants to go home, but like maybe he can't go home. So like why would you connect to this piece? It'd be like why wouldn't he be able to go home? Like think of reasons of that or something along those lines. And then, so basically the activity with this one would be come up with 6 starters for the different concluding line. And then vote to do one together. And then kind of have them do one on their own and then kind of share it out at the end. So the example would be like the best part is, and then put that in as the concluding line. So put like the best part is I can't wake up, it's already too late, and kind of see how that changed up the piece. And we won't do that this time because we've ran out of time.